Hey there, my fellow Star Wars fans. Have you heard about this? I'm sure you have. This is on Jedi News. Disney asks for Slave One rename to Boba Fett's Starship. Yes, apparently they don't like the idea of it being called Slave One anymore. Oh my gosh, that's bad. That's real bad. This article says the name Slave One is no more. Long live Boba Fett's Starship. With the release of Boba Fett's iconic ship in its latest LEGO incarnation, you will notice that the name Slave One has been dropped in favor of Boba Fett's Starship, as directed by Disney. Oh my golly. So we all know what this is about. Disney is afraid of being attacked by the SJW minions on Twitter with their fake outrage. Of course, this is all about slavery in America, which was abolished in the 1860s. Nobody alive today has ever experienced that slavery, nor their parents or their grandparents. But as we all know, that doesn't matter. Disney is afraid of these SJWs, which are mostly a bunch of white liberals pretending to know what's best for black Americans. So now the ship has no real name anymore, and now calling it Boba Fett's Starship. Sorry, but that's boring. As a kid, I never really made any association with the actual slavery in America, with this toy. I had the Kenner spaceship, right? I have the Fine Molds plastic model of the Slave One, and I'm glad it says Slave One on the box, because that's what it's called. The novels say Slave One, I'm sure. And it's been a while since I've read the Empire Strikes Back novelization, but in the expanded universe, it's always been called Slave One. So, will people demand that slavery never existed in the Star Wars universe now? They're just going to say that slavery just doesn't ever exist? Let's just hit that Ren and Stimpy's history eraser button, right? So I never assumed that the name Slave One was directly referred to actual slavery. I mean, heck, for all we know, it could be a reference to the slaver devices in Larry Niven's science fiction universe. I don't know. Was Boba Fett directly involved with, slavery? I don't know. This is just completely stupid, okay? So, if Disney is so adamantly opposed to slavery now, shouldn't they take a closer look at themselves? Look what the Babylon Bee came up with to mock them. To appease China, Disney changes name of Boba Fett's ship from Slave One to Uyghur Slave One. Of course, this is like a total headshot, right, to Disney, because they want to posture and a virtue signal all they want, but really, I mean, this goes back to the whole Mulan, especially, right? This really came to the forefront. They can claim to be anti-slavery, but they depend on China. China enslaves these Uyghur people and treats them like crap. Okay, so it says here, high on the list has been the name to of bounty hunters Boba Fett's ship Slave One, due to its triggering association with slaves and the Roman numeral 1. In order to appease Chinese markets, Disney has announced that they will be changing the name of the iconic Fire Spray 31 class patrol and attack craft from Slave One to Uyghur Slave One. I love it. The Babylon Bee guys, they're bigger Star Wars fans than actual Lucasfilm are. Why don't they just call it the Fire Spray? I mean, at least that would be somewhat, in canon, right? Stupid. So stupid. So, yeah, it's just, these people are total hypocrites. Hey, Disney, Disney, are you against slavery? Then why don't you back out of China, which actually uses slave labor? Hey, Disney, Disney, if you are against slavery and oppression, Why don't you speak out against Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum? Why don't you oppose the concept of slavery to international banking cartels by means of debt, inflation, and manipulated interest rates? No, you won't say anything about that, will you? No, you're not going to speak out against the Great Reset, are you? I thought you were against slavery, but you're not going to say anything against the World Economic Forum? Hey, hey Disney, hey Disney, don't you know that child sex trafficking is also a form of slavery? Why don't you join us in renouncing Jeffrey Epstein? You know, why doesn't Disney renounce its connections to Jeffrey Epstein? And this is something I've pointed out in a previous video. Disney Cruises, they stopped off at Epstein Island. They even had like children cruises. Disney chairman Richard Cook took trips on the Lolita Express. I mean, his name is right there on the Lolita Express flight logs. And then after that, he was appointed to chairman. Disney's ABC squashed the Epstein story 3 years before the Project Veritas exposed the whole situation. And also, as I mentioned, back in the late 90s, Disney, the ABC News, they squashed the news about Disneyland hiring convicted pedophiles. Hey Disney, you know, why don't you make a stand against ever hiring like the likes of Brian Peck and other notorious pedophiles? But no, you won't do that, will you? No, you won't do that. Pedophiles are kind of nasty people, right? I mean, I'm tired of being told that we need to be nice to them because that's a bunch of crap. Okay? Hey Disney, hey, why don't you say anything about actual blacks being sold as slaves in Libya? You know, that country that your favorite president Obama had destabilized because its leader Gaddafi had stood up against the central banks that I just mentioned, right? They got rid of him, totally turned that country into a hellhole, and now black people are actually being sold as slaves. They're being sold as slaves in Libya. Oh, you're not going to say anything about that, will you? No, you really don't. Actually, you don't care about them, do you? See, this is exactly why I will never be a liberal. If they don't have double standards, then they have no standards at all. I mean, they don't even they are complete hypocrites. Hey, liberals, hey, we know that you used to call them colored people, right? You said that quite a lot. But now you just added a preposition to that phrase, and now you just call them people of color because you claim to care so much. So you say that you are opposed to people of color being oppressed and killed by white people, right? Hey, did you know that one white man's philosophy has led to the deaths of countless untold millions of people of color? Would you join me in denouncing him? His name was Karl Marx. Perhaps you've heard of him? Yeah, millions dead, okay? And, white people as well, but a whole lot of people of color, because you don't really care about if white people are killed. You only care about people of color being enslaved and killed and oppressed. Karl Marx, yeah, look into that. I think he's the one that you guys all love so much. Hey liberals, hey, you're all about tearing down monuments of oppression. Well, did you know that there is one monument that signifies the oppression of all of us? Would you like to tear it down? It's called the Georgia Guidestones, the one that threatens to reduce the world's population to a mere 500 million. Have you heard of that? It's located in Georgia. That's why they call it the Georgia Guidestones. I think your friends in the World Economic Forum might possibly know a little bit about that. But see, here's the problem, okay? They will never denounce people like Karl Marx. They will never denounce or try to tear down the Georgia Guidestones. They get their marching orders. None of this is genuine. It is a bunch of hired thugs, and of course they get lots of other people wrapped up in it. But yeah, they get their their marching orders from people like George Soros and these global elites, and then they go around thinking that they are somehow fighting the oppression, and they're fighting the system, and they're fighting the capitalists and blah blah blah. When in fact they're actually doing the bidding of these rich, filthy rich white global elites.